I'm coming out, I'm wanting to set up a camera, and I chased off a whole bunch of horses. Well, this is the spring that I have 2.5 million views on. I came in and unplugged it, and then the horses came in. I'm gonna go set my cameras down there, maybe get some good horsey action. And I got more horsey action than I was expecting. When I first drove up, I scared off 20 horses or so. Here's 15 of them or so going, and this poor donkey'd been hanging around trying to get into the water, and the horses weren't letting him anywhere near it. So when I drove in and scared him off, kind of gave him the opportunity to get some water when I got done. But it stopped up again, and I decided I'd go ahead and unplug it, which I did. And the donkey just run back and forth in the background, waiting for me to get done. Now, I've sped this up 750% just so that you don't switch off of my show and go someplace else. But hang around, I believe it's worth it. And I get the water going, and somehow able to water up to, I think, 30 some odd horses come in over the next 2.5 hours. That's what I've done, is I set up two 360 cameras with battery backups, and for the next 3 hours continually after this donkey switches places with me, there's horses or donkeys drinking out of this thing continually for the next 3 hours. I've managed to pare it down to where it's just got some highlights in it and such, but you get to see a bunch of horses. There goes the donkey. This is some nice cool water too, by the way. It's cold on my hands, and I don't know what spooked him off, but away he goes, and it's not long until he gets I get out of here, and he heads straight over to the water as soon as I leave. Now he drinks his fill, and it's not but maybe 5 minutes, and in come these two pretty black horses. Good looking animals. So as I said, I'm basically fast forwarding in between bunches of different horses that come in. So you have some idea as to how vital this water source is. I don't understand how the pecking order goes between these different groups of horses, different herds, but there's certainly some sort of order, because this guy comes in and chases those guys out, kind of, but they hang around in the wait in the wings. I think that these horses drink like 10 to 20 gallons of water a day. So you'll see at the end of this film that this spring's actually recovered after 20 or 30 horses drank from it. They must have taken several hundred gallons of water from it anyway. (10:32). Now these horses will stand there for 8 minutes, 10, 16, 20 minutes. They'll stand there. And I didn't expect that anybody be wanting to watch 20 minutes of a horse sitting there with his mouth in the water. So I tried to cut to where I was getting different groups coming in and try to get some highlight and some action where they're moving around a little bit. See, that one's saying stay away. I'm learning horse talk. Good looking animal. So you can see now, one of the horses knocked my 360 camera over, and here it is laying on its side. And this is the one off in the distance. You can see my camera laying on its side up by that horse. But I gotta tell you, I got some extraordinary view from this angle, and it's kind of fun. The horses are relatively curious about it. I don't know how it happened, but there's got to be 40 or 50 times that this camera could have easily been stomped on, and somehow they missed it every time. Thank goodness. They're pretty curious about it, though. A number of horses came up and actually sniffed right on the camera. Yeah, kind of boring to watch this, I know, but just hang on. It's getting ready to get good here any second. You'll see. You'll be glad you did. Here we go. This is the kind of footage that I just don't think that you could get unless you stuck a camera there and vamanos just like I did. If you get a chance, look how nice their hoofs look, which I don't understand. People that have horses spend a fortune getting their horses' hoofs taken care of, and these guys look like they just left the farrier, but they don't have any shoes on. Those two obviously share some sort of relationship. They know one another. Here's a big group of all black horses. Look at this. I guess they're not all black. That one's kind of reddish. Sniff, sniff, sniff. Sniff. I know. The 360 camera gives them a really obscure look, but they're an awful beautiful animal. Another group kind of comes in. There's the little baby horse. Isn't that cute? Love it. It's like he's got full-size legs already. Look how big the legs are in relation to the rest of the horse. Cute little animal. Look at those hoofs. Look how close to the camera. And I wonder where these horses get their hides torn up like they are. Do you think it's from other horses biting them and stuff? I don't know. Look at those hoofs. This guy's curious. Muscular animal. Can see some ribs through that shiny skin. Beautiful shot. Just missed the camera, just missed the camera. Kind of fun to watch the relationships these horses have with one another. We could all learn a thing or two from the horse. It's almost playful the way that they interact with one another. Well, we go. I put it off till 3 o'clock and I'll come back out to get my cameras. And I was pretty shocked to see the one laying on its side. Well, we got water back. Okay, well, here's the spring 6 weeks later. There wasn't water here before. Now there is. Thanks for watching Abandoned and Forgotten Footage. You know, you can help an old guy out if you like, share, and subscribe, and comment. It helps the algorithm somehow. Now look at this. I flew in the day after just to see what the spring was doing and what kind of horses it was drawing. And I flew in on the spring and that's what it looked like. And about an hour later, these horses all decided to go. And look at that. 3 distinct groups of horses on 3 distinct different trails out of here. I love these horses, and anything I can do to help them out, I'm more than happy to do. And remember, above everything else, let's all be good to one another, huh?